Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. So, for those of you that didn't see my video yesterday, there's a cool stuff, or by the time this video goes out, because I'm pre-recording this on Thursday, there's some cool stuff happening to the game where we have, check this out, something, right? I mean, by the time maybe this video goes out again, this might already be live, but there's we have the new Asgard divide going on, and as part of that, we have a 7-day login reward in Loki. We already started collecting it. Again, I think this was starting yesterday, so I said, you know what, I didn't want to just cram that video yesterday to make it a half-an-hour video. I want to split it up, and what I'm going to be doing in today's video is I'm going to be going through Loki the Deceiver's kit, okay? Because, well, I want to tell you my opinion. As always, most people enjoy that, even though I know there's, tons of us content creators that do that. I had several of you that always said, you know what, I really appreciate when you do your, when you give us your opinion on their kit, when you check it out. Same thing with like summoning events and whatnot. So that's what I'm going to be doing in today's video. So let's check it out. So again, Loki the Deceiver is going to be a legendary support champion from the Barbarians. And his kit is interesting. Let's start with the A1. So, A1, Flames of Mischief. Attacks all enemies. I already love it. AoE is always good. Has a 50% chance when booked of increasing the duration of all enemy debuffs by 1 turn. Keep in mind, 50% chance is pretty high on an A1 that's an AoE. Keep this in mind that you can have counterattack gear on him, you can put him to do ally attacks, so he would be an amazing debuff extender for stuff like Hydra as an example, okay? Or even a demon or clan boss, or any other area of the game where you want debuff extension. If this champion is under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff, that chance increases to 50%. So that chance goes to 70% booked. Again, because just straight up from this part, from the A1, give him some, like one set maybe of retaliation, some revenge pieces, or pair him with somebody that does an AoE counterattack, somebody does an ally attack, and he's gonna be amazing. Extending those debuffs is gonna be huge. Now let's go to the A2, Deceiver's Gambit. This one is on a 3-turn cooldown. Select a target. So this is gonna be quirky, like from this part, and I'm gonna go through it and I'm gonna tell you why I believe it's gonna be quirky. If the target is an enemy, has a 100% chance when booked of placing block active skill debuff and block buffs debuff for 2 turns. If the champion is using this skill. If the champion using this skill is under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff, also applies debuff spread effect, taking 2 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies. So if played right, he can be an AoE block buffs champion where it just places it, right? He doesn't attack, he just places it, so that makes him perfect for any affinity. Then the second part, if the target is an ally or this champion, heals them by 50% of the champion's max HP, of his max HP, so that can be huge, and places a Perfect Veil buff on them for 2 turns. If this champion is under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff, also applies buff spread effect, taking a random buff from the target, placing it on all allies. I'm guessing this is gonna be like for however many turns it is. So why do I believe this is going to be quirky? Well, this is, again, an opinion for like endgame stuff from my point of view. Like if you're endgame, you're trying to make things as easier as possible. If we're talking about Hydra and we're talking about making him be useful, for example, as a block buff champion and maybe even Perfect Veil champion on a full auto team, that's not going to be viable, okay? It's not going to be viable because, well, you don't know what he's going to do on full auto. He might just, somebody has a bit of HP missing, he might heal them, put Perfect Veil, and then spread it, or he might just never do that. He might just always do block buffs. That's what you kind of want. You want to have that block buffs out there, and I'm not sure how it's going to work. Obviously, once we can test him, I'm going to try and test it. However, I'm going to be away. Like, by the time this video's out, I'm going to be away for the weekend. I'm only going to be out, back on Sunday. So, anyway, we're going to get him on, what's that? Let's see, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So, only on Wednesday will we all get him as the 7th day. So, hopefully up until then I can do some testing and share it with you guys. But for a single target, for a manual Hydra run, he can be amazing, right? He can be your Perfect Veil champ and he can be your block buff champ. The only thing that I'm curious about this is if he does this Perfect Veil on himself, does this count that he placed it and then after that this takes effect and he spreads it, or not? Because if it doesn't, then you pretty much need another Veil or Perfect Veil champion alongside. Otherwise he's not going to be he's not going to be efficient enough for, at least for this part of it. Now let's move over to the next one, Bandit Flash. This one goes down to a 4-turn cooldown, has a 100% chance of stealing all buffs from a target enemy and 100% of their turn meter. These effects cannot be resisted if this champion is under a veil of Perfect Veil. So I guess if you just care about this part, in Arena, for example, you wouldn't need any accuracy if you don't care about the first part. If the target's turn meter was not stolen, fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% instead. So something like Hydra, if you do this A3, you steal the buffs, but you don't steal the turn meter. Then you boost everybody's turn meter. Also places increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. So let's say this one doesn't count, you don't steal buffs, there's nothing to steal, but you still cast it. It's a turn meter boost with a big increased attack on a 4-turn cooldown. Not the best for Hydra, but not the worst considering he could be a block buff champion. So I'm not, you know, this is not the best, again, not the worst. He's definitely better than Adler. That's all I'm gonna say. And now the last part, the passive, limit myself to the other side. So first, the passive effect places a Perfect Veil buff on this champion for 2 turns at the start of each round. So the unfortunate part about this being each round is a round means when you go into Hydra, that's it, okay? When you go in Clan Boss, that's it. When you have waves, wave 1 it's around, wave 2 is around, wave 3 is around. So for something like a Hydra, I wish this was each turn, okay? Or every time he gets a turn, or you know, some way the same way that we have Wixwell, for example, okay? If we have a look at it, Wixwell is yes, Sacred Order. Why did I go to Barbs? So I would have preferred if it was like Wixwell. At the start of each round, places counterattack on him. At the end of this champion's turn, places a counterattack. So I would have preferred if it was at the beginning of this champion's turn, places a Perfect Veil on him for 1 turn. That would have been better because that way the spreading of that Perfect Veil could have worked a little bit better. So like this, it's going to be a bit quirky, but let's continue. Also places a Perfect Veil buff on this champion for 1 turn when their HP drops below 50%. So pretty good, you know, for survivability for himself. Has a 15% chance to evade an enemy skill and all of its accompanying effects. If this champion is under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff, the chance to evade increases to 30%. So this is pretty cool, again, you know, because obviously he's the trickster, so, or the deceiver as they say over here. This one's pretty interesting. I'm guessing just straight up something being casted, just dodge, nothing happens to him. It's as if that person lost their turn, and it is what it is. So this one's really cool considering that it has no cooldown. And now the active effect, if this champion's HP is below 50% when targeted by an enemy skill, has a 100% chance to evade that skill and all of its accompanying effects. This guaranteed evade then goes on cooldown. So this one basically makes him be, you know, this one's on a 4-turn cooldown, but it gives him that survivability. If he drops under 50% and something's being cast on him, or he is being hit, then he's gonna survive. The only question I have here is, does it mean skill as in A to A3 or 4, or does it mean the A1 as well? Because sometimes they use the term skill, but they mean everything, and other times they use skill or where it means like A2 or A3. So I'm not sure about that. However, all in all, I really like the kit. Like, again, we have block buffs for Hydra. We have a potential chance to put Perfect Veil or at least spread buffs on all of us. We have a chance to extend those debuffs. So considering the way that his kit synergizes, the first thing that I'm looking like again is Hydra. I would say that you would put block buffs out there, then you have a chance to continuously extending it if you're playing on manual with his A1, you know, through counterattacks, through ally attacks, and then when you come back, you can put Perfect Veils if block buffs is still out there on yourself. So it gives him some versatility, it gives him a chance to be used in several areas of the game where, again, you might need Perfect Veil, you might need the block buffs, even block active skills like Doom Tower Waves, right? You might lock some of those active skills that are really tricky. He can be really good in that one. So I don't know, I'm really hyped about this. I'm really looking forward to testing him in, again, in Hydra, maybe even, like, I don't know, let me know what you want me to test Loki, like, after what I read myself, after what you guys look at, let me know what you want me to test him. The first things that come into mind, again, are Hydra and Arena. But yeah, I guess this is gonna be for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think about this. I'm really curious of your opinion, and yeah, thank you all for watching. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and we're gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.